Hey there everyone, welcome back to the Dan Cave and welcome to another video build, and this time it's the Hasegawa 124 Porsche 962 in the Yokohama scheme. So, very perceptive of you might have noticed this is not my usual cave. You are indeed correct. I am sat in a hotel room in New York at the moment, currently on a work trip, finished for the evening, so had a spare hour. So I thought I'd finish off a little bit of video editing and get the intro and outro done for this video build so I can try and get that uploaded, so I can get that video build done and completed and published and out to you guys. So yes, it is going to be a video build of this Hasegawa kit. Did I do an inbox review? I think I did an inbox review of this. If I did, I'll make sure there's a link posted as well, just to remind you. But however, you know, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the video. Feel free to leave a comment down below as well. So this has been the intro. Let's pop on over to the bench on the other side of the Atlantic, see how this video build went, and I'll be back at the end with some final thoughts. So over we go. So once we're into the box, it's the part as I described in the inbox review. So I did do an unboxing review of this. There is a link in the description of this video. I might even flash up a card with that link as well if you want to go and see what's actually in the box. So as is the usual starting place for a lot of these kits, it's sorting out all the bodywork, anything that's going to be in the body color, which is white primarily. So we sort all those parts out, clean up any sprue attachment points. Now, looking at some reference pictures, that very first intake, that NACA intake on the roof, is not there on this car from the reference pictures that I can find. I'm sure there's a lot of other errors in this kit, but this was one of the more kind of glaring obvious ones for this particular race car version. So it was a simple case of making a quick template of masking tape, cutting out some plastic card, popping that into place with some Tamiya Extra Thin. Let that fully cure. Covered over with some Humbrol model filler. Rear wing has also been filled in using that. And then use a combination of UMP sanders and my reciprocating sander to remove any excess material. So with that all done, it's over to the spray booth to prime this kit in UMP white primer. So about 3 coats will go down, and certainly enough to cover up any of the areas that have been filled with filler material, because that is in grey, and we want to block that out with some white. So as you can see, the white primer has completely covered any of those filled areas, and then it's a case of laying down some TS26 decanted and sprayed through my H&S Infinity airbrush. So again, 3 coats of that, and that goes down absolutely fine. So it's white paint on white plastic with more white paint. Not too much to say. So with that out of the way, it's straight onto the decals. That paint's been left to cure for at least 24 hours. And it's time to get some of the main decals down on this kit. So the scheme for this kit is a little bit reminiscent of the Kenwood scheme, but it is actually sponsored by Yokohama. Again, it's got the same kind of colours, the white, red and black, although Kenwood obviously is more red and black. But again, the striping is reminiscent of that demarcation line. So I'm just going to speed up this footage as all these decals go down absolutely great from Hasegawa. A little bit of decal solutions from UMP. Mixture of normal and strong, and maybe a little bit of extra strong around some of the recessed areas, just to get them to melt into those panel lines and basically disappear almost completely. So all of the decals go down absolutely fine on this kit. They didn't come across as brittle. They weren't difficult to work with. They conformed easily with a little bit of encouragement from some heat and some decal solutions. And this is another one of the Yokohama sponsor logos going over the area that I filled in earlier. So once all those decals are down, I've added a panel line wash as well, just using some MIG Ammo black panel line wash, wiping off any excess with some odorless mineral spirits. And that just adds a little bit of contrast to the exterior of the vehicle. So once that's left to fully cure, it's back on over to the spray booth, this time using Gravity Spain 2K, which is mixed in a 3:1:1 ratio. And that's for 3 coats, the first coat being a very simple, straightforward tack coat. We just want a surface that's going to allow subsequent clears to adhere to. So get down a nice tack coat, leave it to get really, really sticky for about 10 to 15 minutes. And once that's done, you can come in and blast away on your second coat, you know, pretty much looking for a perfectly good gloss coat. And then the third and final coat will be absolutely perfect. No orange peel whatsoever. And this is pretty much how this is going to cure over the next 4 to 5 days. As you can see, that clear coat looks absolutely spot on. So, with that set aside, not going to touch that for at least 4 to 5 days. We can crack on with a few other bits on the kit. Things like the toe and eyes, which get airbrushed in. Revel Red, I can't remember which one. I think it might be their Fiery Red. Wheels are then sprayed using some. I think that's... that is a super metallic from Mr. Hobby. And it looks like they're super gold. And then the centers are masked off, and then I'm using some stainless steel for the outer rims of those wheels. So again, easy enough to mask them off. With a D-Space circle cutter, those center masks are easy to do. Pop them on. And then get a lovely finish on those wheels. So the interior was primed in UMP black. Most of the interior is in gloss aluminium. Or aluminium, I think. Yeah, I've actually gone for just an aluminium colour from Alclad this time. The seat itself is also in a semi-gloss black. So that's just been primed in UMP black primer. I have some seatbelt sets from Scale Productions. Now these are not my favourite. But for a kit like this where you can't really see a huge amount, they work perfectly. So they add a little bit of detail, but obviously don't look too closely. But it's the usual process with the ribbon, using some double-sided tape this time. Now I go back and forth between double-sided tape and super glue. The double-sided tape that I use, it's a high-tack one, can be very, very good. But I've had it be a little bit hit and miss recently, and I've ended up using super glue anyway. Obviously, super glue comes with issues that you can end up with basically where it stains the wrong side of the material. But for this set, I've gone with the double-sided tape. The ribbon's probably a little bit thinner than I need it, but I think the 3mm ribbon I have doesn't look quite right in a 24th scale. It doesn't quite fit through the hardware that I've got from Scale Productions. So I've gone with a 2mm ribbon. It's going to be barely visible through the windows anyway. But again, it gives the proper appearance of some seatbelt material. So reasonably happy with how it's gone together. I think if I could find a 2.5mm ribbon, that would probably work a little bit better. But nonetheless, the 2mm looks okay in this situation. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll add some decals for the seatbelt manufacturer, and that'll be the seat and most of the interior done at this stage. So the wheels themselves, the paint is nicely cured, tires get popped on, and then there's some reverse decals to add for tire manufacturer details. So basically they're on a double piece of backing paper. You place them on the surface you want. Add a couple of drops of water. I tend to use a cotton bud and a little pot of clean water. Just dab it into place. Leave it for 20 to 30 seconds. And then that can be peeled back to leave the tire manufacturer's logo. And as you can see, all four are done. So Bodywork has now been curing for a full 5 days at least. So it's time to crack on and basically knock it back, flatten it back a little bit. basically with 2K, towards the edges, towards any panel lines, you will get a little curvature of the 2K. This process just softens that out a little bit, just actually sharpens it out a little bit, flattens it back a little bit. And then once you do some subsequent polishing, the clear coat looks a lot better and a lot less toy-like. So sand it back using God hand sponges. Once that's done, it's onto the UMP polishing compounds. I've got the number 1 compound and the number 2 polish. Again, you work your way through the grades of micro mesh or God hand compound, whichever you want. Clean your kit and then onto your polishing compounds. And that will bring you back to a lovely gloss finish. So once you've completely worked in the polishing compounds, as you can see, I'm currently on the number 2 polish at this stage, using an old cotton t-shirt, which works very well. Glass cleaning, microfibers that you can get from Amazon, they work very well. That's what I'm using here by the looks of it. I tend to buy a stack of them. I'll run them through the washing machine when they're used as well, so that cleans them up nicely. But obviously, make sure they're not frayed in any way, and they should bring you an absolutely perfect polished surface. So once that's complete, there's a little bit of masking to do. There's a few areas in around the interior, so basically the dashboard, the interiors of the lights. All those parts are painted in semi-gloss black, which is Tamiya X18. And that's been thinned with UMP's universal thinners. As you can see, there's a nice little black strip at the back of the main bodywork. So with all that done, can start the very simple assembly process for the chassis. These are incredibly simple, very generic. There's no detail whatsoever on, suspension, brakes, that kind of stuff. But you can see everything pops in place absolutely fine. The glass parts can then be added as well. Actually, no, starting with the dashboard actually, so that glues on the inside of the tub. Using some CA glue to fix that in position. The interior also fits on the underside of the bodywork as well. And that includes detail for things like the radiators and the side pods. And with that all glued in place, you can kind of see the amount of detail you can or cannot see, and that's before the glass is in place. But that is all looking quite good at the moment. And then that body just slips over that chassis absolutely fine. It's easy to take on and off. It's not glued in place, and it probably never will be. And that's it, just popped in place as a test fit. I'm reasonably happy with the progress and the stance on that so far for what is a very, very, very curbside kit in this instance. So once I'm happy with little tasks like that, the rear wing can be glued in place properly. So that can be done with CA glue. You could also use some PVA glue for that. Here I am using some PVA glue just to add some rivet detail. Again, looking at reference pictures, you can see there's a few areas where there's some obvious rivets. I have lots of spare rivets from previous detail sets, so it was just a case of popping a few out. A little dab of PVA type glue, which in this case is Deluxe Materials Glue and Glaze. And then the very, very, very tiny rivets can then be just popped into place and maneuvered to where I need them best. So that's done on both sides. It's also done on the gurney flap on the rear of the bodywork as well. And it just adds a nice little touch of detail to the exterior of, again, a very, very curbside kit. So all those little details just add a little bit. The windscreen, that's attached with PVA glue as well. It's a nice fit, not a huge amount of pressure is needed, so that'll just pop in place, and that
PVA glue will set quite slowly over the course of a couple of hours, and that'll be enough to hold that in place. Same as said of the headlight covers as well. And of course, with parts like that in place, I can also get on and add some decals onto the sun strip, as can be seen in this shot, and also some sponsorship decals on the headlight covers as well. And as you can see, just to find a little bit of a check over, wing mirrors have been put on as well, making sure there's no dust, make sure everything is nicely lined up and secured in place. Paintwork is looking absolutely fantastic. And now it's on to what's basically the final pictures of this build. Now, I think Hasegawa have captured the 962 absolutely perfectly. I do have the Tamiya kit, which will make an interesting comparison as well, especially with the way they've done the build sequence for theirs. But for me, the Hasegawa one just captures the essence of the Porsche 962. Very, very pleased with how this has come out for a simple curbside build. It's got a good presence on the shelf. So let's head back to me for some final thoughts.
So there we go. There's the build of this Hasegawa 962 completed. So, you know, these Group C kits from Hasegawa, they have quite a few of them, completely curbside. Much of the running gear and, you know, the kind of base chassis of these Group C cars is basically the same in each kit. You know, there's almost no detail in there. The body shapes are good. They come up with some interesting schemes. They're a nice little fun build to do. You know, you don't have to go, you know, all out on them. You can detail some of the external bits, as, you know, and as in this case, I've added some rivets on the outside. Beyond that, added some seat belts as well on the interior. Beyond that, you don't need to do much to them to build what, you know, makes a nice looking kit. And I really enjoyed this. I think it's a nice scheme. Obviously, very reminiscent of the Kenwood scheme in terms of the way it's done. But in this case, it's Yokohama are the sponsor for this. Yeah, so it's a thoroughly enjoyable build. Not more to say. Hope you enjoyed the video build. If you did, of course, leave a like. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me in a hotel room in New York, which is an unusual intro and outro to do for me, but nonetheless, needs must. Had the time, might as well do it. So there we go. Thanks for watching. See you all very, very soon in another video build. So bye bye for now.